Yeah.
Mentioned that Lord Krishna told Arjuna to go beyond the three gunas.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure exactly I understood how to do that from reading Gita. So maybe you may be able to give us some light how to go beyond this.
Three gunas can only be, we can go beyond the gunas only by realizing our true nature. When we realize that we are beyond the gunas, when we realize that we are the self, then only we can go beyond the gunas. So,
or any other way.
Any other way means what?
Go beyond the gunas.
What other way? What other way you want? There is no other way.
Like us.
There is no other way. Yeah. Oh, Shashi ji.
Swamiji, namaste.
Yeah, namaste.
It was beautiful lecture. You're like a scientist who dissected each guna so beautifully. Couldn't believe it. It was so clear, so beautifully done. I have one thing to ask you. Like you said, the gunas are in everything, right? In object and in subject.
Everything is made up of the gunas.
Right. So, say, suppose as an individual, I'm a subject. And I observe the object. So that gunas are in connection with subject and object. Is that true? Like whichever state of mind I am, that is a predominant guna, right? So whatever I perceive, am I perceiving the same gunas there?
Same gunas means what?
Like, okay, so say suppose you go to a temple, right? So your sattva or your that predominant, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But if I go to my bed, then it's a tamogun which is predominant.
Yeah.
So if the object is the bedroom or the puja room or the lunch room, they contain that kind of the vibration.
No, that may influence you to some extent. That may influence you to some extent. But those objects now depends upon how susceptible you are. So
Right.
yeah, so it is because actually it is Purusha who is conscious. So naturally, according to state, we can also say the reverse, that according to the state of our minds, we will see the objects. That also can be
Right.
said, yeah. If someone
then
goes
what-
to a temple, a good person will have different feelings. But if someone is going to just there to steal something, he will have different feelings.
Okay.
Yeah.
Then going one level up, say if you are at the state that you see these are the gunas and you are only at the level of awareness and you are witnessing it, is that the better state to be in there? Like
Yes, but that can only happen when you realize that you are the Purusha. Only when you realize that you are different from the gunas, then you can attain that state, not before.
Right.
That has been mentioned in the Gita, that state has been mentioned in the Gita. That such a person,
Yes.
although he eats, he moves, he knows that he doesn't do anything. It is the gunas of the Prakriti which are acting on the gunas. Gunas are acting on the gunas because our mind and body are made up of gunas. So when we are acting on something, actually the gunas are acting on the gunas. But since we are identifying ourselves with the mind and body, we think that we are acting. So, but the personal knowledge, personal knowledge sees that it is all the play of the gunas. Yeah.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Thank you. So, Sandra, can you unmute yourself? Sandra, are you there? Okay, we'll come back.
Okay, can you hear me
Yeah,
now?
we can hear you now, yeah.
Okay.
Welcome.
Pranam Swami, thank you so much for this series. It's just great food for thought and contemplation, and
Thank
I'm
you.
just happy that you're here on giving us these
Thank you.
lectures, talks.
Thank you so much. Yeah. We had met how many
Blessings
years
to
before?
everybody too.
Yeah. We had met about how many years ago? 10 years ago in Calcutta?
I think so. Via a computer.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to coming to Canada too.
Yeah, let's hope things become normal. Yeah.
Yes.
Thank you. You're already unmuted.
Namaste, Swamiji.
Namaste.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, your every program, every week, I feel like from the thick cloud, sometimes we see the rays of the sun. So it makes us our hope that there is sun. But
Thank-
again, covered with the cloud.
That is the nature.
Yeah,
That is the nature of the mind. Yeah.
No, but it gives us the hope that, yeah, there is sun
Yes, of
behind
course.
hope. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Swamiji. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Thank you.
Purvidhi and Adi Babu.
Namaskar, Maharaj.
Namaste.
Brilliant exposition of Sankho and Gunas, three Gunas. Wonderful.
Thank you.
The song was beautiful this time, and the pictures were unexpected pleasure. Thanks for everything.
Thank you. Mr. Oki, where were you yesterday?
Oh, yeah.
Sleeping.
Sorry, I forgot. Sorry.
Very, very nice. Forgetfulness is a sign of tamas. Yeah.
Okay. I try not.
Okay. I am also forgetful. Don't
Thank you
worry.
very
I
much.
forget every time. Yeah.
Thank you very much for the good lecture.
Yeah.
And I have a question about higher self and the lower self.
Yeah.
And lower self is Jiva Atman and the daily mind or body.
Yeah.
And the higher self is Atman, Brahman,
Yes. Yeah.
consciousness,
Yes.
soul, and spirit.
Spirit. Yeah.
And I understand that, say, like Brahman has a two level, higher and lower level.
Yeah, that also you can say, but if you, it depends on what are you focusing on. If you are focusing on higher self and lower self, then what you are saying is correct. But then when you focus on Brahman, then also there are two types of Brahman, Saguna Brahman and Nirguna Brahman. So you have to concentrate on one aspect. When you say lower self and higher self, then don't mix up the types of Brahman there.
So which means higher self and the lower self is a sort of different.
Different, of
But,
course. Yeah, lower
You
self.
explained before that one big container, there is a small container, same water, but that is a small container is myself, and the big is outside.
Not like that. Not like that. You cannot say. When you say the higher self, it does not mean that the small self has been stretched and it has become the higher self. It is not that when the small self becomes big, it becomes the higher self. It is not that. They are of a completely different nature. The small self is the illusory self or jiva when we identify ourselves with the mind and body. That is called the small self, lower self. But the higher self is our true self, which is beyond Prakriti, which is beyond everything. So it is not that when like a boy is a young boy and when he grows old, it becomes an old boy. Not like that. It is not that the lower self becomes the higher self when it grows. It is not like that. They are completely different. Just to make us understand, they have said that higher self and lower self.
And is lower self can communicate with higher self?
It is actually one and the same. So they are not two different things. When the Atman identifies itself with the mind and body, it is called the lower self. It is the same Atman, but when it is in ignorance, it is called lower self. When suppose God forbid, suppose you return one evening at home completely drunk. Then you are doing all sorts of stupid things which a drunk person does. So are you different from Mr. Oki, who is speaking to me now? You are the same person. But in that state of inebriation, you have, as it were, become completely different. But when you become normal, you again become your old self. So when you are ignorant, you as if become a different self. That's what we have become. So just to make us understand, it is called lower self and higher self. So we will say, oh Mr. Oki, you are in such a low state yesterday when you were drunk. Yeah, but actually you are the same person.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you. So, Aishwari was with us in Sattva Guna yesterday. Yeah.
Namaskaram,
Namaste.
Swamiji.
Yeah.
You gave a great number of examples that was very helpful. You mentioned, an example where we need to be fully rested in order to study something or something like that. You gave an example. You also mentioned that the three gunas, they have contradictory nature, but then they also cooperate with one another. I'm wondering if you also mentioned sattva relies on rajas. Did you say something like that, or is my notes wrong here?
No, it's right. Sattva relies on Rajas because Rajas is the only gunas which has motion and activity. So it activates and stimulates the other two gunas also. Without Rajas, Sattva cannot function.
Okay, but sattva doesn't rely. Sattva also then relies on tamas for.
Relies means actually the thing is the gunas can never be divided. They always function together. So in that way, each of the gunas are related to one another. Although they have contradictory, say suppose three brothers are there. They they have been joined by either they have been tied together. Now one is a rogue, one is a saintly person, the third one is just mediocre ordinary person. Now they are pushing a car. So they are of different natures and they can never be separated from one another, but they are jointly pushing one car. They are jointly doing that action. So similarly, of course this example is not complete because the gunas are subduing each other also. Just to have an idea, I said. So gunas also, although they are of different natures, they are all doing one function only. What is that? They are educating the Purusha.
Okay.
Yeah.
In our day-to-day life, Swamiji, when we want to make use of this understanding of the three gunas,
Yeah.
For example, if we are trying to look at the state of mind for some people where they feel extreme anxiety and depression,
Yeah.
we kind of associate that with the rajas and tamas. And so can we infer that in order to convert that, they will need to achieve the state of sattva through knowledge. So knowledge, can we infer that it will be knowledge that will somehow convert the state of anxiety and depression to sattva.
Knowledge or any other characteristic of Sattva Guna. See, any kind of higher pleasure springs from Sattva Guna. So what do we do generally? Suppose someone is in a state of depression, we say either we counsel him, we show him the positive side, or even if that doesn't work, we just take him out somewhere, something which he enjoys, either some hobby. For example, those who are artists and all, they drown, even if they have some problem like that, they have such a noble pursuit, they can drown them, all those in that, they can convert those feelings so that those feelings are given a higher turn. So that is, each person has his own way of converting this. Yeah, but the thing is, when we know which guna is responsible for what feeling, then it will be easier for us to do this conversion. We will know that we can either do some activity, something constructive, something creative, because we know that all these are functions of Sattva Guna. So they will slowly pull us out from that dark mood which we are in.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's very helpful. Thank you very much.
That is why everybody is taught to form some nice hobby, some higher pursuit. Because we are all busy working. Here I see that people are busy working 10, 12 hours every day. In young age you can do all that. That's okay. But when your body starts failing, then what do you do? What do you fall back upon? When you are left with only your mind, then what do you do? The mind which has been addicted to rajas, whole life they have been working, workaholics, they have been working like mad. They have not cultivated sattva at all. Then what do you do? When you can't be involved in work, when you cannot follow rajas, then what do you do?
Mama.
That's right. You have to teach them to fall in love with God.
Yeah. Because falling in love with God is far, far away from most persons, but at least some type of intellectual pursuit, at least, or some hobby or something beyond this work and dollars.
Very helpful. Thank you very much, Swamiji.
Thank you so much. Shanta ji, Jagdish ji.
Namaskar ji.
Namaste.
Pranam Swamiji.
Yeah.
It was really very awakening talk, but the root cause is attachment.
Of course.
This attachment is not from this life, maybe many lives this attachment
Yes,
is there.
yeah.
To get rid of that.
By being attached to God, when you become attached to something higher, the lower attachment falls away. Sri Ramakrishna has said that if there is a magnet, now if there are two magnets, there is a smaller magnet attracting you. But if you place a bigger magnet on one side, then that will attract that magnet. So the bigger magnet is God. If we can attract our mind to God, develop love for God, then this attachment for lower things, this money, body pleasures, etc., they will go. So we have to follow two courses in our life. First, Sakaratmak, positive. Positive means developing love for God by taking His name, by spiritual practices, by praying. And second thing you have to do is try to give up other things as much as possible. When both these things are done, then slowly that magnet will become stronger, this magnet will become weaker. So our magnet will be drawn towards the bigger magnet, which is God.
But in our daily life, Swamiji, something or else is coming. We are doing all the reading and all the meditation and everything. Every moment we get some hindrance, something.
Hindrances will be there. In the ocean, there will always be waves. So if you want to bathe in the ocean, will you wait till the waves have gone down? In daily life means what? There is no undaily life. Every life is daily life. So whatever we have to do in daily life. If we keep on waiting for some good time, that time will never come.
Yeah, I know, but hard. Thank you, Swamiji.
Thank
It was
you.
really good talk.
Thank you.